All right, thank you guys. I'm glad everybody can make it. Today we're going to address one of the most serious trends that faces our industry today in this special education series. What we're going to discuss is the top 5 challenges facing today's distributor and 4 very simple to implement strategies that are proven to increase your sales, your client base, and your margins in this online era. Now, the reason why we commissioned a study to be done in the first place is that we asked our clients. We surveyed some distributors, and the same challenge/fear kept popping up, and that was that their clients were continuously finding better prices online. Right? Their clients who used to purchase products from them are now shopping online and buying from a direct seller. And this is forcing distributors to either cut their margins down to almost nothing or lose the sale altogether. So what we did is we hired an independent research firm to find out what exactly is going on in our industry. We hired them to find out what need the internet is filling and why the client would prefer to buy from a website than one of our qualified distributors. We've all watched as the giant beast called, the internet has swallowed up whole industries. And look at the music industry. Does anyone want to buy a tower of records with me? Probably not, because people don't go to record stores to buy music anymore. They buy it online. How about a travel agency? Does anyone want to open up a local travel agency? Again, probably not, because the bulk of people go online to places like Expedia, Travelocity, or Priceline to get their travel packages. I mean, even a huge retail chain like Borders Books has filed bankruptcy because of the internet providing book sales online. You see, now is the perfect time to start to apply these strategies we're going to talk about today. We need to apply them in order to avoid the internet from consuming another industry, this time our industry, right? This report we'll be going over today, it's going to examine the disturbing trends in promotional distribution and the strategies that distributors can use to avoid becoming a disposable industry. And a good portion of our challenges originate right there with the words disposable industry. Now, ASI and PPAI have some phenomenal statistics and data on how potent promotional products are. I recommend you check it out for yourself. However, to quickly summarize their research on the subject, promo products are the most powerful form of advertising. All right, promo products outperform TV ads, radio ads, magazine ads, and online ads. Now, I'm not going to go into that in this session today on how it outperforms. I'll leave that for another education session. But what I will tell you is this, is that in the research that we found, despite the powerfulness of what we provide in this industry, we still have a perception that the products we provide are cheap, trinket-type giveaway items. And that perception on our industry strips you of some of the huge value that you provide to your clients, right? The truth is that you are more beneficial to your client than the internet. And if you didn't believe that, you wouldn't be in this business. But going further, you should be more important to a company than an advertising agency. And I'm going to show you how to get that kind of value back today. So first what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a snapshot of our industry, right? This research that we did will give us some key insights into how the industry has changed and why we face the challenges that we face, right? Because it's not enough to know, you have a challenge. It's why that challenge exists. And that's what allows us to create the strategies that will propel us past those challenges to success. So let's get started and take a look at our industry. Now, as you can see here, in 2008, we hit our stride, right? We had the largest year, $19.8 billion, right? Great year. However, in the 2 short years after that, from 2008 to 2010, we plummeted by almost $4 billion, right? Basically, we lost everything we'd built over the last decade. We started in 2000 with 16. We built it up to almost 20, and now we're back down to 16. We lost pretty much everything we did in that last decade. I mean, and it's easy to see when you have pharmaceutical regulations now. That industry has a lot more regulations on their promo products, probably because they are so powerful. But you also have mortgage companies that all went out of business. These guys spent millions and millions of dollars on awards and trophies and promotional things. Overall just kind of led to a bad economy, and because of that, we see a $4 billion slip. Now, in 2010, the revenue started to come back a little bit. It brought some relief, but basically distributors did not get that full impact, right? You guys didn't get the full benefit of additional sales revenue, but why? Right? Because in 2008 to 2010, distributors lost a lot of money. All right, you can't lose $4 billion in sales revenue and not have, a huge hit, you guys. Right, but so did manufacturers and suppliers. These guys also lost a lot of money. So what are they doing now? Well, in order to recoup those losses that they faced over the last couple of years, what they are doing is they are cutting out the distributor. They're going direct. They are going to sell to any means necessary to try and recoup those losses that they experienced over the last couple of years. Now, it does two things, right? One, you have to compete on price more than you ever thought you had to before. But number two, you have to compete for that client's time, right? It's more marketing messages being sent out there from another supplier, another manufacturer, right? And there's only so many seconds in the day for your client to see your marketing message, your value, and what you bring to the table. Right? So that on top of all these other marketing messages, well, guess what? Your client is already overwhelmed. They cannot take any more marketing messages. The New York Times did a study where in 1980, the average consumer saw 2,000 marketing messages in a day. And to me, that seems like a whole lot, right? But today, 30 short years later, the average consumer sees 30,000 marketing messages a day. Basically, they're seeing an ad every 3 seconds. I mean, it's like your client is sitting on the 50-yard line in a packed stadium, right? 30,000 advertisers there trying to get your client's attention. And they're yelling and screaming to get your client's attention. Hey, buy me. No, our product's the best. You're doing the same thing, right? But if you've ever been to a stadium, imagine that you just hear a roar of a crowd. It's a muddled mass of voices, and your client is unable to distinguish your value or your products, or what you can do, your service, from the person next to you, right? So thanks to technology, our customers are exposed to over 1,500% more advertisements than they were 30 years ago. All right, technology, is it our friend or our foe? In some cases, it's a foe, and I'm going to teach you how to make it your friend. But, I mean, take a look at the technology. I mean, look at how many more TV channels there are. There's regular TV, there's cable TV, there's movie channels, HD channels, radio, same thing. There's more magazines now than there's ever been before, right? That kind of technology. And you combine that with other kinds of technology. I mean, when you have companies like LinkedIn adding a new member every second of the day, when Twitter's adding 300,000 new members every day, right? That takes a lot of time because people are tweeting, cross-tweeting, retweeting to other kinds of media. It takes a lot of time. You take a look at text messages. Now, here's the technology that didn't exist that long ago. And now it's up to 1.56 trillion text messages being sent in a year just in the U.S. That's huge. You also have, I mean, don't forget Facebook. These guys, there's 5 billion minutes spent every month on Facebook. That's a huge amount of time. Right, and you need that time to get your message across. Not to be outdone, YouTube, 8.3 billion hours of YouTube video is streamed monthly. I had a guy on a webinar the other day that said his daughter's probably responsible for most of that 8.3 billion hours. But anyways, you can see how it eats up the time, right? And they're no longer able to hear your message. It's cluttered up, and that clutter is making it so much more difficult for you to sell. Right? They did a survey out there, and they found that back in the 1990s, it took an average of 4 attempts to get a buyer's attention. That means 4 different marketing messages to get a buyer to respond. Right? When I say buyer's attention, what I mean is to get them to respond to the marketing. Today, it takes 8 attempts. Right? And every attempt is going to equal more money spent, or at least more time. If you're the guy knocking on doors or making phone calls, it's going to be more time. All right, which equates to money. So it's getting very expensive. And what they found, Marketing Best Practices, Inc. did a study, and they showed that only 8% of the people that finally do call in will buy. Right? So it takes 8 times marketing to the same person to finally get them to call in, and now only 8% of the people that finally do call in will purchase. Right? And what it's done to the cost is it's tripled them. Right? Since the 1990s, the cost to get the buyer's attention has tripled. And it doesn't even get you the same results. It only gets you 1/3 of the results that it used to. And it's left a lot of distributors feeling down in the dumps, right? Leaves them with questions of, can I compete? Do I have enough money to compete? Will the internet swallow up one more industry like it has before? How can I break through the clutter? How can I make my message known? right? So that clutter factor is a huge reason why we face some of the challenges that we face. Now, jumping into it, challenge number one, right, that we face, promotional industry is on the decline. Some of the most sobering research that we found was this, right? In that, according to a recent research done for Incentive Marketing Association, they found that over 40% of all premium promo products were being purchased outside of distributors. 40%. I mean, we just took a $4 billion loss, and now 40% of what's left over is going outside of our distributorship. See what's happening, that clutter factor that we talked about. That clutter is creating this confusion, and that confusion is equaling this frustration, right? And when that frustration hits, the client just goes online to a direct vendor that has easy access. Basically what they're telling us in today's day and age, that you as a salesperson, as a marketer, as a business owner, what have you, is that you have to be better than Google, right? And that's a sobering thought. It's that's a tall order to fill, is to be better than Google. We're going to go over some strategies on how to do that. But off the bat, beating Google is a tough. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar company, right? Buying online. And at least in the past, we used to have kind of a stigma, a hesitancy of buying online. You can see from the graph, though, that's no longer the case, right? We no longer have that to protect us. You can see, you know, in 2009, where we started from to where we're going to go in the next couple of years, and you can see that America has completely accepted buying online. And as that increases, as more and more people buy online and that increases, it's going to increase the exposure to online direct sellers, and it will decrease business for our distributors. All right? So challenge number two, keeping up with the times. Right? Distributors are losing a lot of their impact because they're offering only the standard promotions. Right? You know, they're offering pens in a world of 1.56 trillion text messages. They're offering calendars in the era of smartphones and Facebook, where all you have to do is tap in. You'll see exactly what your day is planned out to be. You know, coffee mugs in the fast-paced times of Starbucks. People are running in and out of Starbucks, local coffee houses, getting their coffee. Nobody really carries the coffee mug anymore. And I don't want to put those products down because I think they're good. But, you know, are they exciting? Is it what's going to grab somebody's attention in the 30,000 marketing messages that they see a day? You know, will it open new doors to business for you? If you had a marketing buyer, you know, on the phone, you know, what would you say to impress them? You know, because right now the market no longer belongs to the passive order takers of the past. When I say order takers, what I mean is the client is telling you what product they want, you are running out and getting it and bringing it back. Right? Because this is a detrimental thing for us. Because if they are bringing the product to you, the only way they found that product is because they found it online, right? So you getting that product, you will always be competing with that online price, right? The order taker has been relieved by Google, you know, so to speak. And it leads us to our challenge number three, and that is losing our innovative edge in our marketing. You know, you guys have always said, the distributors have always said that the number one competition has traditionally been, what? Other distributors, right? But now most distributors would be praying to go against the guy down the street rather than this faceless, heartless, price-conscious website, you know, direct selling website that they're up against now. This is now their top competition. And it's innovation in their marketing that's going to have to replace that passive order-taking position that's been stolen away by automation, by Google, you know, by the internet, because just order-taking won't work any longer. Google can do that for them faster and easier. Please notice right there, I did not say better. You are better for your client than Google. I promise you that. I'm going to show you why. All right? But it's innovation in our marketing that's going to start to set us apart. Now, we have a lot of stats in here. We did a lot of research, but a lot of what we learn is from case studies. So we did a great amount of research on case studies so that we could learn, right? They help us learn from the big guys, their successes and their failures. And so Microsoft here spent millions of dollars to teach us this lesson. So if you have a pen, I strongly recommend writing some of this down. All right? Here's Microsoft. They wanted to get in on the iPhone craze, right? So they created the Kin. This was intended to be their answer to the iPhone craze. But for every single Kin phone sold in the first 3 weeks, Apple outsold them by 6,000 iPhones.